Council meeting to order. Please rise for a moment of silence, followed by the pledge of allegiance to the flag. Thank you.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call, please.
Vice President Chuma? Councilor Geary?
Here.
Councilor Gibson?
Here.
Councilor Kirkland? Councilor Polk? Here. President Training?
Here.
Councilor Williams?
Here.
Mayor? Here. There's a quorum.
Okay, should I have approval of the minutes from November 6, 2013, committee of the whole meeting? Moved and seconded. Any questions or discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Could I have a motion to approve the November 12, 2013 council meeting? Moved. Second. It's been moved and seconded. Any corrections? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Comments from citizens present?
Outdone.
How's everybody?
Good.
How do I adjust this board? If I sit here and talk to you?
Nope,
I'm standing.
right there,
Okay.
whatever you're comfortable with.
I just want to share some information with the board. Can you hear me? Okay.
Of the Human Relations Commission.
My name is Al Dunn. And I was registered to vote in Pottstown this past year, which I didn't vote. I have property in Pottstown. I'm a commissioner on the Pottstown Human Relations Commission. I'm here because I have a human rights concern. And my concern, there's an ordinance called Ban the Box. I think Pottstown is a very progressive town. There's a lot of work that needs to be done on this Ban the Box. So I just wanted to mention it to you. If someone has any questions, I'll try to give you an address that you can send me a letter or send me a question. And it's something that we need to work on. It's going to take some time to do. It's going to take a lot of time, actually. Might be a year, might be 2 years, but we need to work on it. We need to move forward. Ban the Box, this is what Ban the Box is. When a person with a criminal record goes for a job, there's a little box that says, have you ever committed a felony? When you mark that box X, you don't get a job. 33 years ago, I committed a felony and I was arrested. Now when I go for a job, when I mark that box, I can't get a job. So what I'm saying to you is it would benefit the community because it would be a more stable work environment. It would eradicate a lot of people who are not working, and I think it's something we really need to work on. I'm just going to leave it at that for now. If anybody has any questions, you can ask me.
So one question.
Sure.
Is that for people with a whole history of crime and the expectation that they should all be able to get a job anytime? Or is this for kind of maybe an isolated incident or something that has been rehabilitated and now they would actually have something to offer to the workforce?
That's a very, very good question. Ban the Box, what it will do, it will give the employer an opportunity to meet that person and then evaluate what that person did. It will be an evaluation process. That way, see, here's what happens. Mr. Mark Flanders knows me. How you doing? Well, anyways, my offense was 33 years ago. Excuse me. I have a felony, and what happened is I worked for Lockheed Martin for 23 years with my felony. I had Homeland Security clearances. Then I worked for City Hall up in Reading. I also had clearances. But once I lost each job, I had problems getting employment because of that. Because the people don't get to meet you and see who you are as a person. So that's what I'm trying to do. It's going to take a long time.
So if that box was not checked, if the box wasn't there, would the person still reveal their history to the prospective employer?
Sure. What happened is...
After they meet face to face, in other words, then they would have a chance to discuss.
Usually what happens is you apply for a job, and if that's not there on the box, you get an interview, and then you get a conditional employment. We're going to hire you conditionally based on your employment on your criminal history background. So a lot of times you can sit there and talk to this person, and then you can kind of fill out, how long ago was the crime, how long ago was it, how serious was the crime, and number 3, what have you done for me lately? That's the basic premise of Ban the Box.
Well, we'll do what we can, and I'm sure with you being on the Pottstown Human Relations Commission, I'm certainly that's the right avenue to pursue some of these issues.
Thank you a lot.
Thank you
Listen,
very much.
it's very casual. What we're doing is very casual. It might be 2 years or 3 years before we do something, but I just want to put it out there. And I appreciate you guys for being so progressive.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nathan Craig.
Good evening. The only reason I'm here tonight is that I want to thank everyone for the support they gave my wife. I think Bonnie did a really marvelous job as mayor. I know because certainly there were many times I had ideas of things we could do that night. She said, no, I've got something I got to go to. And I said, do you have to go? She said, I want to. So as someone said to me the other night, Bonnie was there. She was at every event. She was involved in everything and was very strong and progressive in promoting Pottstown in a very positive way. And I just want to thank you, honey, for all the work you did. Good job.
Thank you for driving Miss Daisy.
Congratulations. Good luck. Good job. Travis, it's good to see you here. Do a good job. Thank you, beautiful. Whoops.
Thank you.
Good luck to you. Yeah, it's hard to see you again. I like your cupcakes. They were very good. I didn't really get a chance to meet you. Hey, buddy, good to see you again. Yeah, good luck.
Thank you. Thank you. Robert Snyder.
That's it.
All right. Good evening. My name is Robert Snyder, and I'm with the Pottstown Citizens Committee. And I would like to, Citizens Action Committee, and I would like to speak tonight to an issue that I believe is absolutely prerequisite to any positive growth in our town and preparing it for the brighter future that I believe can and will be realized. Tonight, I want to talk about crime in the borough. I feel like this is the elephant in the room that I don't hear being addressed at the borough meetings, in the Mercury, or in other public discussion settings. Although I always hear it being discussed when I talk to people in Pottstown, and especially from others in surrounding communities. I believe that this is the main issue holding Pottstown back from attracting new businesses and families, and becoming the charming, fun, and safe town that I know it can become. This is not a perception problem, but a real problem based on fact. According to Neighborhood Scout, a highly ranked real estate search website, the Pottstown, PA crime rate is among the highest in the nation, with property crime rates topping surrounding communities such as Allentown, Reading, Philadelphia, and Norristown and Coatesville. Additionally, the violent crime rate in Pottstown is 171% higher than the state average, topping Reading, Allentown, and most other surrounding communities. Within PA, more than 98% of communities have a lower crime rate than Pottstown. These statistics raise red flags and tell a frightening story to people who would otherwise consider moving their business or families here due to the convenient location, the relatively low real estate prices, and the old industrial town charm. And the story is not a pretty one. Until this crime issue is first acknowledged by council and Pottstown leadership as the #1 deterrent to revitalization and then subsequently addressed and lowered to be in line with other surrounding communities, I am afraid the Pottstown renaissance that many residents and businesses have been hoping for years will never happen. Who wants to move to a town to raise their family or host their business where there is open drug dealing in the streets? A disproportionate percentage of Section 8 and low-income renters where they have to worry about allowing their kids to play outside or walking to their car from work, and has a crime rate among the highest in the nation. So the question becomes, what to do about this crime problem to improve the quality of life in the neighborhoods and revitalize the town? We know that arresting our way out of it does not work. If you remove a criminal, there's always another one ready to take his place. I also understand that our local police are already stretched thin. We also know that a lot of these criminals are not native Pottstonians, but come from other more urban areas to ply their trades on the streets of our town. Additionally, there's a large proportion of renters compared to homeowners, as well as Section 8 housing in the borough, which some studies have shown also contribute to the crime rate, as many of these folks have no vested interest in the community. This also must be acknowledged and addressed. This element of criminal outsiders with no vested interest in the community is unwelcome and damaging to the fabric of our community and needs to be halted. I believe that Borough Council can play a major role in affecting positive change. It has been proven in other low-income, crime-ridden towns that positive change can happen. When local governments actively partner with all stakeholders, including local businesses, residents, community activists, developers, and law enforcement, to establish and commit to a unified strategy towards reducing crime, as well as being selective on what businesses they allow in and trying to attract. Also by aggressively enforcing code violations upon problem landlords and tenants, by promoting and attempting to attract positive development and bringing them into partnership rather than settling for any business or landlord who wants to come in for only profit. These situations can be turned around. I'm asking council to give some serious thought and consideration to this crime issue as the major deterrent towards revitalization, and to begin considering plans towards addressing this most important issue. I believe revitalization will begin to fall into place once the fear associated with crime is alleviated. Thank you for allowing me the time to speak, and I hope to be able, and I hope that my thoughts are given consideration.
Thank you. If there's a chance, if we could get those statistics.
Absolutely. I would email them. I'll email them to all of you.
Okay, thank you.
Diane Crum.
I'm Diane Crum. I live at 275 North Hanover Street. Before I start, I'd like to thank Jeff for being my councilman. I hope you stay involved with improving and working for Pottstown. Because you've done that. Oh, well. I'd like to thank you, gentlemen, for the conversation you had last week, or, yeah, it was last week, about the taxes, and I understand why you wouldn't want to use the side money to subsidize taxes. And I understand why we should have signage, because Pottstown is not visible from Route 100 or 422. Unfortunately, we are not a rich community. So I really suggest if you think the signage would work, do something that would bring in revenue, because that's where it's all out at, I suggest we approach the high school and ask them to build some signs that would work, that you could change the activities that are going, because we have many of them. And if they do their job, bring in revenues, and then you can improve on the signs. But what I really like to talk about is, because of the conversation last week, you all have worked very hard to tighten your budget, to button your buttons, but I think you have left a window open. And that window is back taxes. There are 12 pages of people that owe back taxes on the Pottstown website. And a lot of these own multiple properties, which makes me think that they are landlords. One person owns 5 properties and owes over $15,000 in back taxes. There are people that haven't paid taxes in years, wherein 80, 85-year-old people that own their home are struggling and not using heat and not eating well in order to pay taxes. Very few of these do they say sheriff's sale on them. Since 2009, when I heard about somebody's house being put up for sheriff's sale that didn't even have a mortgage, I've been trying to pay attention a little bit to the sheriff's sale, and I noticed the same houses on there. They're either postponed or stayed, and I'm not even sure what stayed means. Okay, but it's the same houses constantly. In your residential checklist, you mentioned very much about the water bill. And remember what happened when you said you're going to shut off everybody's water in 2010? What they owed? You got the money. When you have your amendments to lease, it says right on page 1, landlord shall keep and maintain the lease premises, blah, blah, and all applicable codes and ordinances of the borough of Pottstown, all applicable state laws, and et cetera, et cetera. Isn't there a law that says you have to pay your taxes? I pay my taxes. I'm in Frightened. I don't own my house. The county owns my house. The borough owns my house because I have to pay taxes. This is a place that you could close the budget. Please take this into consideration. Thank you.
There is a process in place that we do get those taxes paid back to us before the property is turned over to sheriff's sale. We deal with, well, right now the county is handling the collection of the taxes and so forth when they're delinquent.
Since 2005, 2004. Yeah, but please, you'd have to do something then to expedite that. It is not fair for us to shoulder
Absolutely.
everybody else's taxes. Thank you.
Ross Palovich.
Hi, I just want to say a few words about the budget and the waste management funds. First, I want to say I agree much of what was said last Wednesday, that we need to try to avoid tax increases, and even a small increase is a significant strain for many of our homeowners and businesses. It appears that this year's budget is going to have that 1% increase, and I do appreciate the efforts made to get it down to that. But we already know that we have some significant cost increases for next year, so I suggest we start right now, today, to start working on a budget for next year. Now, all that said, besides cutting costs, we need to increase our value. This is where I agree we should invest the waste management money in strong efforts to enhance the desirability and overall impression of Pottstown. I hope we will be diligent and utilize these funds where they can get the most bang for their buck. And I also hope we can try to utilize companies that are not just local, but have workers that live in the borough. This brings me to one of the items suggested, the signs on the gateways to town. This is one of the things I have written about before and have always personally annoyed me. The signs are much more than just a sign. They are our brand, our label. They are the thing that people who don't know anything about Pottstown see when they go by. And when you see an overgrown, out-of-date, uncared-for sign, they create a picture in their mind of a town in the same state. These little things that make a huge difference. Our signs should be maintained and be attractive and informative at all times, and probably even more so when times are bad. I am for modernizing these signs and our image. This all goes along with another of the things I feel strongly about, the need to rebrand and recreate the image of a new and improved Pottstown and widely market it to enhance our image and reputation to the outside world. Just like when a business has become stagnant, to grow, they reinvest in their product and appearance, and we must do the same. After all, the more desirable the town, naturally the more valuable it is, and revenues go up accordingly. In the end, most of the country is still struggling with a poor economy, so we must do everything we can to stand out and be noticed, create a feeling of security, and simply be more desirable, and hopefully we can utilize these funds in ways that help remove some of the bad and promote the new. If we don't improve our real value, we will continue to chase the budget spiral downward.
Thank you.
That would be the extent of the citizens' comments, Mr. Attorney.
Okay, mayor's report.
Greetings, everyone, and thank you for coming to tonight's meeting. I was thinking back to when I first came to this town in 2000, and wasn't too keen on it at first. But then as I began to see some more things and travel around, I really understood what we have here. We have a great location. We're on the Route 100 and 422 intersection, right at the middle, which is the heartbeat of 3 counties. And to get anywhere, you have to go through Pottstown, really. When you're out on the highway, those green and white signs, you can always count on the fact that whether you're going from the north, the south, the east, or the west, there's going to be a sign for Pottstown out there to follow. So that's really a wonderful advantage. We have a railroad, we have an airport, we have a river. We have so much to be proud of. Our parks and recreation system is beautiful, and we have a charming downtown. Yes, we have problems. I wish I knew of a town that doesn't have any problems, but I want to assure you that Chief Drumheller would be happy to talk to anyone who has constructive ideas for how to improve any problems that the police deal with on a regular basis. There's an open door there for a serious, thoughtful person to pitch in and really make suggestions. So don't feel that you have to storm the gates and try to get our attention. We're all ears. Years ago, some efforts were made to have community revitalization and block watches, and those were wonderful efforts, and the community police embraced that fully and added what they could to the situation. Now, sadly, I don't know how far those have gone due to whatever problems arose, but there have been inquiries for other neighborhoods to try such things, and we're all on it. All I have to do is say it, and the police will just tell us, when they're going to meet, and we'll be glad to be over there. So I want to assure you there is that receptivity to those type of ideas, if they're constructive. I'm so pleased that we've been embracing the revitalization, which was begun many, many years ago, and we've tried, and then we've gotten pushed back maybe, and then we've made another advance and maybe get pushed back again. And this time I just hope and pray that we do not allow ourselves to be pushed back for any reason. We must keep going forward, and positive thinking is the energy that will propel us forward. It's not a denial of problems. If you want to look at problems, consider the life of a police officer. This is what they deal with most of the time. I mean, occasionally a baby gets born somewhere they're not supposed to get born, and that's kind of a happy event maybe, or whatever, but really to deal with crime, to deal with people dying maybe right before your eyes, to have to tell families that someone they love isn't going to be coming home, to go into the middle of domestic disputes, which are highly dangerous even to the officers, and to be dealing with the ugly underbelly of our society every single day. And yet, look at them as they walk the halls here. They're great. They stand tall, they're intelligent, they're energetic, and always ready to help and always ready to do. They're out there with Pal, helping to nurture kids and be a mentor and provide recreation. They're doing so many good things. The school district is out there trying to really make a difference under challenging circumstances. The businesses have flourished. We started with one, maybe we had two, now we have so many restaurants. We have a theater, we have an art gallery. This is wonderful stuff, but it cannot be sustained on negative energy. We must take the good things, embrace them, and then move forward and advance them. And I ask each one of you to make a pledge to yourselves and make a pledge to Almighty God that you will do whatever you can do of a positive nature to move things forward and not to allow us to fall backward. It would be so nice if we had a marketing budget. Some of the towns that our Main Street manager, Sheila Dugan, has visited, she went there to find out all about how to do it. And the answer was simple. They have an $80,000 marketing budget. I wish we had an $80,000 marketing budget. Maybe someday we will. the plan that we have of growing the whole borough and bringing businesses in and raising the tax base will provide funds for everything that we need to do eventually. It will provide funds to fix the potholes, the roads, it'll provide funds to fix all the borough-owned sidewalk. I mean, so many things can be done. And yes, it could provide marketing money for Pottstown. So that's a great goal. But in the meantime, the marketing budget is us. It's human potential and human power. We have to talk to other people. We have to tell them about what's going on here. We have to invite them to join with us in our events. We have to just find any way to bring people and to share positive things. It will not help anybody to tell them of the problems we have, any more than you would tell people that you're meeting for the first time the mistakes and the faults of your children. Rather you would tell them the positive things that you would share. You wouldn't humiliate your child. You shouldn't try to humiliate our home either. So stand with me on this, please. Do not fall back. Keep moving forward. It's annoying when we have to keep cleaning up this town. Well, let's just keep doing it until maybe the culture changes and people understand that there's nobody hired to follow around behind them and pick up the mess they leave. They have to do it themselves, or we have to do it. Thank you.
Thank you. Manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. Attorney. As you're aware, this evening, council will be voting on 2 ordinances in regard to the removal of the non-uniform employee pension fund from the Pennsylvania Municipal Retirement System to a borough-managed fund. Well, let council know that provided the ordinances pass, I'll be notifying PMRS that we will be pulling out of the pension plan or pension program effective 12/31 of 2014, which will now allow enough time to ensure that all the pieces are in place as far as the pension documents, the fund manager, and whatnot, so that the transition is seamless. Also, as you may recall, last month the Infrastructure Committee recommended that council directed or asked the solicitor to begin looking at our ordinances that relate to cellular towers in the right-of-way for the purpose of making sure that the borough's interests are protected. I want to let council know that was a pretty timely suggestion in that we received notification through the Montgomery County Consortium that a Pittsburgh contractor over 2014 will be installing a substantial number of cellular antennas in the right-of-ways in suburban Philadelphia area. So we can anticipate Montgomery, Chester, and Berks, Delaware, and alike getting hammered with right-of-way cellular antennas. If you recall last the committee of the whole meeting, I told you that we would be settling on 22 East 2nd Street last Friday. That did not occur. It will be occurring next Wednesday. So if anyone wonders why, it was simply because of some accounting issues that needed to be resolved. And last but not least, I'd like to let council know that the Pottstown Area Health and Wellness Foundation has notified us that we have been awarded, if you recall, the school district and the borough went together and applied for funding for the Walk Bike Pottstown for the engineering in the amount of $582,000. That grant was awarded contingent upon us securing grants for the project itself, which accumulate to an amount of $1.5 million. If we are successful in receiving those grants, we will then have the money released for the engineering. And that's the extent of my report, sir.
I guess we got some work cut out to secure some of those grants.
Fortunately, the transportation bill passed. That was a big hurdle.
I did meet with Senator Rafferty, and he did speak that some of the projects that are in the pipeline are going to be moving forward. So hopefully the Kind Street Bridge will be one of those. Finance and Administration, Mr. Quinn.
Yes, sir. The last time we met was last Wednesday, and the budget was not the first thing on the agenda. We're looking at good news. And Ms. Wigley brought to our attention that she's been pursuing an FAA grant to improve our runway, make repairs and renovations. Hearing the overview details of this would only be a 5% match. So we enthusiastically supported that she go forward on this and bring
us into better airport age. We're pretty near capacity right now. And one of the catches is we can't expand it until we're more busy. So we have to get more busy and kind of crowd it a little more, and the only way to do that is to improve the runway surface. Secondly, discussions went on just an hour prior to our committee of the whole meeting about the monies received from waste management. And the committee took a long, hard look at all the options suggested by management, how to best use this for capital